Hey everyone, this is Mike with Team Squeeky, partnered with Kaijudo Central, the premier community for all things related to Kaijudo. Today we'll be taking a look at a replay I recently had on TradeCardsOnline.com. So I went ahead and rolled and ended up winning the roll to go first. I go ahead and put a Bone Blades into the mana pool, and he follows up with a Terror Pit. The beginning of this game is going to be a little slow, just because we're both playing late game centric decks. He's playing a Water, Darkness, Fire control deck, while I am playing a modified version of the Decree deck Chris posted the other week. So if you have any questions about the deck, take a look at that video, or simply post a comment, and I'll make sure I'll do my best to answer it. So I go ahead and put the Tendril Grasp in here, just because I know he doesn't have a ton of creatures that would actually be affected by it. This Guard Overlord Blue Hollow he actually plays right now would really be the only thing he actually has, so I would do yes. Instead of going for the Reapinso like I had originally planned this turn, I choose to go ahead and play the Bone Blades to kill the Scarred Overlord Blue Hollow now, just because Squeeky can be a bit of a pain. This next turn, I go ahead and play the Prickle back into mana pool, and then play the Reapinso. I end up getting a Foulburn and a Terror Pit. I throw the Terror Pit in the mana pool and add the Foulburn. The reason I chose the Foulburn instead of the Terror Pit was because I know he's a little bit away from having anything that I'd actually need. Or at least that's what I thought. When I drew the second Foulburn, I knew that one of them was going to go into the red. I really don't need both of them in my hand, especially considering I have Hyperspeed and the Bolt Tail in my hand. I wasn't sure whether to go with the Hyperspeed first or with the Foulburn, but I did choose to go with the Hyperspeed. The reason I might not have is just to keep it in hand. Hyperspeed is a really awesome card and can really put pressure on the opponent. He uses the Resolve in his hand to bounce the Hyperspeed to stall me one more turn. It's pretty huge, because if he hadn't, I would have swung with Foulburn this turn, and things would have gone pretty poorly for him from that point on. This is a really good reason not to play Revolka until you actually need to. So I go ahead and pull out Hyperspeed once again. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go Foulburn or Hyperspeed this turn. I did end up choosing the Hyperspeed actually. You'll see me kind of dance with my cards a little bit here, just to make sure I'm thinking through that decision. At this point, he goes ahead and plays the Tatsurian Unchained that he's had in his hand for a while, and honestly I was a little worried, but not too much. My thought was I'd throw down the Foulburn this turn, and swing with the Foulburn, hopefully flipping over a dragon. The reason I would go ahead and decide to go with the Foulburn is that way, and just swing with the Foulburn that I ended up doing, my thought was, if he swings the Unchained into the Foulburn to help buy him some time, he'd trade with the Unchained, which would put me in a pretty good position overall, considering my hand. And it was a trade I was willing to make. Sanjeev, however, unfortunately I didn't really get the flip over, and Sanjeev ended up having a really good response to my play. And that overcharge that he got in the Shield Break was kind of the key to it, although he does end up drawing out himself. Sanjeev made really good use of the card Overcharge. It's not a card that I've ever really played with, but his deck actually made me consider it, even though I ultimately decided against it. So here he plays Overcharge, giving the Unchained a chance, the ability to attack untapped creatures, killing my hyperspeed, and then untapping Tetsurian due to this ability. He then, with the extra plus 1000 power, swings into Hammer Dragon Fallburn, killing it without having to actually trade. Like I said, this was a really good movement. For a bit, I was really scared until he swings to Sulka, and I end up getting a Terror Pit. If I hadn't gotten the Terror Pit, I probably would have swung Bolt Tail into Fallburn this turn. However, with the Terror Pit coming up, I decided to play it a little bit different. Seeing the Necro Dragon, I decided to throw it into Mana Pool and summon Morna. This kills the Resolker and gives me a really big creature that he's going to have to deal with. It also helps that I know that he doesn't really have anything in his deck that's more power than this, so it's going to kind of force him to use multiple cards to deal with it, or to use a Terror Pit. And anytime you can force out a Terror Pit is pretty good. So he goes ahead and throws some cards into Mana Pool, taps the 8, and brings out his Bolt Tail. He can't swing with his Bolt Tail, because then otherwise I'd just kill it with my Morna. Like I said, the power of having that extra attack power that's above anything your opponent has really just adds a certain level of pressure. So here I decided to go ahead and take the Necro Dragon and put it on the field, breaking the 2 shields. Necro Dragon allows you to break equal number of shields equal to the number of dragons you have on the field. He gets the Crystal Memory, and he makes a really good choice from his Crystal Memory in this one. He ends up grabbing a Resolka. I swing with my Morna, giving him, what's funny, another Crystal Memory. He ends up choosing a draw card here, which, in my opinion, really isn't that good. The Logo Scan I just feel would have been better to have a kill spells or a shield or a blocker since he had no shields left, and any fast attack really puts him in a bad position. Especially since he already had the solutions to handle the current field. So he goes ahead and brings out Resolka. He makes the small mistake and targets the Morna. He asks if he can take it back, and I go ahead and let him. So he realizes, like I said, he realizes his mistakes, switches over to the Violaker, the Necro Dragon, and then uses Overcharge to power up Bolt Tail and trade with Morna. This is a really good job. If I didn't have the Bolt Tail in my hand, it would have essentially given him board dominance and really bought him a couple of turns to deal with this. Unfortunately for him, I have Bolt Tail, and after this I simply summon the Bolt Tail and swing for victory. Overall, this was a pretty good game. Sanjeev made some really good plays dealing with Resolka and Overcharge, really showing the power of that kind of control. I hope you enjoyed this game. It was a pretty fun one, even though it was pretty standard the way the game worked out. He made